What you said was, after you got hit, you had to go to the hospital, and the only sober one in the whole place was him, who was able to take you there to drive 2 hours. Was him, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Perfect. Go ahead. So tell me what happened.
Then we go to another place called Little Grand Canyon. We stay there for probably half hour. More beers are consumed. Then we come back to camp, and by then it's around 1:30 in the morning. I get my backpack out of my truck because I'm getting ready to go to bed. I come back out, I sit in a lawn chair next to Jesse's girlfriend. We're kind of having small talk when all of a sudden somebody's arm is around my neck and their fingers in my mouth, twisting my head to the side. So I had enough room I could turn and bite his finger. I turn around and it's Mr. Cowart here choking me from behind. That's when he starts UFC trying to dive tackle me. I held him down at least 4 times. Knock it off, I'm done, I'm over this. You know, I'm kind of fat and old. I'm out of breath. He comes up in front of me and slaps me in the face. So, I gave him a good smack back, and it was hard. By that time, I was irritated.
Yeah, and what happened to your face, Mr. Cowart?
Well, my jaw was broken in 2 different places.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of an assault? Go to JudgeJudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
What do you think happens when you get drunk and you start wrestling around with somebody?
On that occasion, I'd say...
Miss Lewis, this young man used to be a friend of yours. He's not anymore. It is your claim that he asked you to cash a check for him. You said, okay. Took the check, went to your bank, deposited the check, gave him some cash, and the check bounced, causing all kinds of fees. You want to be compensated for both the cash that you gave him and all the fees that were incurred by you as a result of this bounced check.
Correct.
And Mr. Chip says that he never gave you a check, right?
Correct.
You have a copy of the check?
I do indeed.
I'd like to see it, please. Is this the way the check looked when you cashed it?
I never saw the check. He deposited it into the ATM. He was present with me.
Shh. I didn't ask you anything.
Your Honor, Chris and Nick were both there when he deposited the check into my account. I never saw the check. I asked to sign it, and he said, no, that's not that kind of check.
Okay. Do you have notification from the bank that it's a bad check?
I have my bank statement. They kept all the paperwork for their fraud department. They didn't give me any of that information. This one shows all the fees that were caused, and this shows the check deposited and the money that he withdrew that day.
What was the date?
It was October 22nd. It was a Thursday, around 7 p.m.
It wasn't October 22nd.
The check was deposited on October 22nd. Then the following day, I went into the bank to check
October 26th, ATM envelope deposit, debit adjustment, $200. So they adjusted it on the 26th.
Yes, that's the day that I went in with my grandmother to figure everything out. She had lent me money to unfreeze my account so I could receive my check.
The next text message I have in my phone, received October 15th, 5:56 p.m., says, come to the bowling alley, tough guy.
That sound familiar?
Yes, ma'am.
How come you didn't tell me that?
I don't have those text messages that I sent out.
How come you didn't tell me that you told him after those vicious text messages, how come you didn't tell me that you invited him to come down to the bowling alley? Did you just forget about that?
No, I didn't, Your Honor.
Did you think that it was information that I wouldn't want to have, sir?
No, ma'am.
So now you tell me what happened when he came down to the bowling alley, because he was dumb enough to go down there.
Yes, Your Honor, I was.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She's an idiot, and you're an idiot, and he's an idiot, and she's an idiot. And I didn't do 10 years of post-high school education to deal with 4 idiots.
And later today.
And what date were you divorced?
When was our final?
Our divorce was final November 16th, 2009.
Women know those things. Sometimes it's the most liberating date in their life.
Yes, it was.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. David Quadra says former friend Stephen Raymond attacked him at a bowling alley after an argument about their wives. Stephen is countersuing for harassment and assault.
What happened when he got there, sir?
He showed up to the bowling alley. My sister-in-law and her mother were outside. He sent me a text message saying, you send your out to do your recon work. So I walked outside. As I walked outside,
Just a second. I'm just looking for that text message here.
Yeah,
It's not here.
I'll show you. Here it is, Your Honor.
I'd like to see it. Can you please show me his response to that, if any?
You won't be able to get that on the phone.
Oh, you can't get that on the phone. You can only get one way. Is that right?
Correct.
I don't know.
That hasn't been my experience
You can get both.
as far as I know.
Did you erase yours?
No, it only keeps the last 100 sent messages out. So obviously, from the last 3 months, I've sent over more than 100 messages.
No. Well, maybe you shouldn't send any. Okay. So now he comes down to the bowling alley, invited by you, and tell me what happened. Tell me how you got assaulted, sir.
I walked outside, and he came up to me and was right in front of my face.
What did you expect him to do?
Came home that day and said, I quit. I can't do this job, cried. And then from there, we called her parents. I said, you can't quit. We're not even 1 week into our vacation. And
You can't quit. You just told me all these reasons that she was incapable of caring for your child and placed him at risk. And what do you mean you said to her you can't quit?
Well, because we were there for 5 weeks. And we
Take care of him yourself.
Well,
I mean, what did you have him for?
Well,
Huh?
well, obviously we had to take care of him ourselves.
Just a second. Absolutely. You don't
course.
leave your 2-year-old with somebody who you believe, and I'm not making a judgment whether she's incapable or not.
Right.
But what I don't understand that, I mean, she's a kid. You're not. I'm going to get to her in a second and find out what nanny training she had. And I don't want to hear about taking care of your sister.
We hired her, Your Honor, to come over there and to perform duties as a nanny. And
She
was
wasn't a good
incapable.
nanny. That's why when
Yes.
your son gets a little older, you'll put him in nursery school. And if you find that they're not taking care of him in nursery school, or if they're not changing his diaper, or if they're not giving him food, or if he keeps getting sick, or if one of the other children isn't supervised and hurts him, then you'll take him out of that nursery school. And you don't sue the nursery school for the cost of another nursery school, because that's ridiculous. You're the parents. Somebody is not taking care of your child in what you believe is an appropriate manner. You find another caregiver. You don't say, well, we're in Europe now and we're here to have a good time, so we'll let her continue to take care of him. You say, here's your plane ticket, go home.
Well,
it didn't work out.
Right.
Here's your plane ticket, go home. It didn't work out. That's what you do. And then you go about either taking care of your child. How many children do you have?
Just one.
Ah, well, perfect. It's not as if it's cheaper by the dozen. I assume you had one child at your stage in life because you thought you were equipped to take care of one child.